Hello, hello everyone. How are you? It's been a while. I'm not here live. I'm standing because it's so hot here in Barcelona that if you sit, it's like wave of hot coming. So I'm just gonna stand with my fan here because I don't have air conditioning. Let me know when you open. Megan! Tracy! Let me know when you open. Jennifer! Laya! Hi! How are you? Annalise! How are you, ladies? I'm so excited to be here with you. Hi, Rose! I'm waiting for Jo to come on. I'm gonna tag her here in the comments. Jo. Ah, here she is. Hello. I'm from Ohio, USA. Wow. How are you? Is it hot? Like here in Spain, we have a wave of hot, and it's like mind-blowing. So I'm trying to cope. Let me see, Jo. I don't know why yeah. She's coming. Hello, the unfiltered edit.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I was just saying that I'm standing because it's so hot here that it's like if I sit, it's like you can't breathe. Hi, Sam.
Same here. It is so hot in the UK. So hot. I've had a fan on literally in my face all day.
Yeah, me too. I have it here near me like a baby.
Oh, how are you?
Good. We have been having heat waves, but our weather is all over the place. Yeah, it's hot everywhere. I can't wait to be by the beach.
Yes.
So, Jo, beautiful Jo. For my audience, hi Margot, for the people who don't know you and are new to your world, who you are, what you do, what is that you are here for.
Well, I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today, all about energy. So thank you for having me. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jo Sweeney, and I am an energy and leadership mentor for established leaders and entrepreneurs. And I basically talk all things energy all the time. I live and breathe it. And so I tend to work with entrepreneurs and leaders on their personal growth and personal mastery, but through the lens of energy. So I teach leadership through the lens of energy and how you can use energy as a very, very powerful tool to be more, to express more, to stand in more, to receive more, and to really own the depths of self-relationship and personal mastery to go and create massive impact in the world, basically.
And you are based in UK, 2-4 sacred generator.
Yes, I'm still learning what that means, but yes, I am. And yeah, I'm based in the UK, and it is as hot as it is in Spain, I feel, over here right now.
And so for people who are like, but what is energy? Like, why do you talk so much and you are so in love with energetics and energy? Tell us more about that.
Oh, I love this topic, and I know you do too. And this is going to be such a juicy conversation because we talk a lot about energy behind the scenes, right? So I'm so excited to be able to bring this, to the public forum. But energy is so important for me, quite honestly, because it's been the thing that has catapulted everything in my own life in general, my own personal development, but also in unexplainable, magical, incredible ways in my business and the businesses of the people that I work with as well. And I feel like there's such an evolution happening in leadership right now, where people are becoming more aware of energy, that we're not just a physical body, that energy is everything. We can use it as a very tangible tool to create so much for ourselves when we know how to master it and we're aware of it, and that everything is energy. But this is in a way that's, you know, in alignment with the law of attraction, but so much more. In the work that I do anyway, it's more science-based than that. It's rooted in science. It's rooted in all of the aspects that make up who we are, which is more than just the physical, and how we can use energy and frequency to create the miraculous.
Yes. And so how did you, like, backstory, how did you come across like energy? Jo is phenomenal. I'm currently working with her. My life has changed and it's so exciting.
Oh, hi Charlotte. Oh, so much love for you. Charlotte's amazing. Amazing.
So how did you decide to study energy? Because, you know, something that we talk a lot about behind the scene is how, you know, there is, before actually using energy with clients, there is a level of mastery, of personal mastery, that we have to we believe, you know, in integrity, and that you have to really master yourself before offering it to other people.
Right. I mean, one of the things that we talk about a lot, and I talk about actually with a lot of my clients and in the public space, is that energy is a really popular and, dare I say it, overused word. And, you know, it is one of these words that's becoming, you know, I'm so happy to see it becoming more in the forefront of business and leadership. But, you know, is something that is really scientific, and there's so much more to it than kind of really what a lot of people quite honestly are talking about. And so for me, backstory is that I come from a long line of healers and intuitives, and I kind of came in with a major sense of energy. I know you did too. And so I was always, you know, I didn't really know what it was as a kid, but I was always aware of energy, working with energy. And then I did the thing that, you know, a lot of people can do. I definitely did it, which is just kind of think everyone could do this thing and was in tune in this way, and kind of ignored it, and went and had a career in a completely different industry. So I spent 15 years in advertising and made TV commercials and loved it, and really had an incredible career. But as I was in that journey of that career, behind the scenes, I was a very different person. And I talk a lot about my story behind, you know, that was my career, but the person behind the scenes was actually anxious and struggling in confidence. And, you know, I knew how to show up and be a certain way in my job, but the truth was very different. And for me, the first thing that I came across, which really started to kind of changed my life, was energy psychology. And so I've been in energy psychology now as a client. I was a client of it for a couple of years before I was a practitioner. That was about 10 years ago now. And a lot of my current methodology is rooted in energy psychology. It's absolutely fantastic. And the premise of energy psychology is that it is very much about mindset, subconscious programming, beliefs, conditioning, trauma, but it's also about all the energy that surrounds all of that, and really how those two things together are very powerful in really shifting and clearing the energy fields of people. And for me, it was the thing that, you know, really helped considerably, not just on the anxiety and everything that I was doing, but actually in my connection with myself and how I showed up in the world and my leadership. And I was really young at this time, and, you know, it was kind of the thing that catapulted me. And I just thought, I've got to train in this. It's just incredible. And I always wanted to work with people in business. I'm a strategist at heart, and I love brand. And so I was, you know, I married the two, and I've had my business now for just over 8 years. And over that period of time, that's where it started, in energy psychology. And since then, I've just gone all in on energy because I love it. I've seen the results. I've layered in lots of other trainings, developed my own methodology. I'm currently studying a 4-year bachelor's in energy. So I'm really, you know, I'm committed to it personally, but also professionally, because it is just so profound. And I know that you have a lot to say on this topic as well, but I feel like when you know how to use it properly, or you work with someone that knows how to use it properly, you can just create things that outwardly seem unexplainable at times and magic. A lot of my clients say to me all the time, like, how did that happen? What? It's those mind-blowing things that are almost unexplainable, but I always come back to the science of energy. It is very scientific, it is very formulaic, it can be, as well as being super intuitive. But energy to me means everything. It means spiritual connection, personal mastery, embodiment, how, you know, how we understand all the different parts of us and become more whole in our beings, and then how we bring that to the world.
Yes. And like, what's the difference for you between hi guys, everyone joining, let us know if you have any question or knowledge about what is energy psychology. Hi Jojo, hi Rene. And if you have any question for Jo to go deeper into something, but like, what would you say is the difference between energy and energetics?
That's such a great question. I believe that they are different. I believe that energy is a, you know, part of who we are, that we can master in the same way as we can anything else. Energetics to me are a set of principles, and I can't take credit for this, but someone said this to me once and it always stuck with me. Energetics to me is like the recipe in a cookbook. It's a set of principles. You follow these steps that you get this outcome. Energy is more of a tangible thing that you can play within, that you can understand, that you can get to know, you can connect with, and you can master.
Mm-hmm. So, hi Daisy. Do you listeners, people here, like, do you resonate with that definition and, you know, differentiation between energy and energetics? Because I do a lot, and I think, you know, a lot of people confuse the mastery of energy with the use of energetic tools.
Yes, I totally agree. I feel like they are two different things, but they're not always presented as two different things to us. And I think quite often a lot of people that implement principles or tools within the energetic space, if their energy isn't in alignment, then those tools aren't going to have the same impact. And I think that can be a real shame with the term energetics, because energetics is a set of principles and tools, exactly as you're saying, they're really powerful, but your energy has to be magnetic, clear, leveraged, high frequency, and that kind of supercharges everything. So when you know how to use your energy and then you apply the two things together, that's where the real magic happens, because energetics as a set of principles are super powerful, but sometimes I feel like they can get a little, you know, some people are like, well, this doesn't work for me, or how do I do this, or this isn't quite right. And actually they are powerful, but they are a set of principles, to me anyway.
Hi, Diana says yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So how do you use energy and energetics with your clients and in your business?
Energetics to me are more kind of the practical, tangible tools that you give someone that shape, you know, in a typical session for me, the majority of it, 2/3 at least, are energy work and the shifting and the, you know, doing the work, is the affectionate phrase, which isn't always easy and sometimes confronting, but totally worth it. And the pieces that kind of surround that, the wrapping paper, so to speak, with the giant bow on, that's the energetic principles. And for me, it's about how can you kind of help someone in the energy space to do the deep work. And it is deep work when you're working in, you know, someone's energy field, or, you know, they're working within their field. it's kind of, you know, that is a process within itself. And then it's energetics to me are a set of principles and tools that you can help someone to leverage the work between sessions, basically, are the things that the actionable things that they can implement that will shift and continue the work and continue the energy flowing from what's been done in the session. I actually was just with a client before, and the way that I explained it was this exact conversation, because of course we're aligned. So of course it is. And the way that I described it is kind of like two pathways. And one of those pathways would be energetics, and the other pathway would be energy. And really for me, energy is the work that is very deep, it's very intimate, it's very personal, it's kind of all of that, you know, deep inquiry, self-exploration, shifting energy and really reprogramming and releasing and, you know, shedding these old parts of us that we don't want to hold on to, and doing that in a very safe and guided container. And pathway 2 are the energetic principles that you can give someone, where they can leverage all of that on their own journey. And a big part of that I found, and I'd love to hear your take on this, energetic principles for me are tangible, practical things that people can implement, but it's also a big part of energetics to me in that sense is embodiment. It's so important. They can do all the work in the session that they want, they can shift their energy, but if there isn't an integration or a recalibration, and usually that comes in the form of embodiment, it helps it all kind of like anchor in, and that on a cellular level really creates massive shift, I found. What about you?
Yeah, I was just, you know, feeling into it, how it relates to the work specifically I do with, you know, human design, gene keys. And it's like, for me, it's like human design, we could say for me, it's like the energetic. It's like a map. It's like a tool. But it's not just going to change your energy at a cellular DNA level and auric level if you just know about your chart. You know, it's a tool, it's a knowledge, it's a way where you can go and learn and explore. But then, you know, the deep energy work for me is through the gene keys, when we are willing to confront our shadows.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I love human design. I think it's the most incredible roadmap, because it really is such a fresh perspective and quite a strategic approach, which I love, to guide that kind of then process of the energy work and how those two things sit together. So yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yes. Hi, Andrea. And, you know, it's like the same, for example, with, I don't know, tapping, EFT. You know, I'm trained in EFT and everything, but that's a tool.
Mm.
Someone who just know EFT and who hasn't actually learned the principle of energy on a deeper level, where, you know, we talk also about, you know, quantum physics, the energy of, you know, the nanoparticles and all of these different things, the different level of the energetic bodies. You know, you can stay there and tap and repeat affirmation, but it's not gonna shift.
Right. And also, I think it's about the depth that someone else can take you to, whatever the modality, right? If someone knows what they're doing in the energy space, and they, you know, can guide someone through an energetic process really safely, then, you know, quite often we can't get to those really deep places by ourselves. And it needs that kind of, you know, assistance and facilitation of a process and a space that is created for someone to really access those parts of ourselves, because ultimately energy never lies. You know, we'll see it in clients. I see it in clients all the time. I can see and, you know, work in energy in that way. But really it's about, if someone's subconscious mind doesn't want to, you know, hand over what the real thing is that they need to work on, they just won't be able to access that part of themselves, or they won't be able to access that part of themselves within their energetic field. So quite often that's such a key role in this type of thing. Is it's so useful to have an understanding of energy, and how it, like as you say, quantum physics, the spiritual connection, the scientific foundation that is on all of it. But actually, if you can't get to the places that are really deep to clear out and shift the things that are really the game-changing things, then it becomes a set of knowledge, right? And so
Yes.
it's about energy. To me, is about true transformation in a way that is so powerful that simply, you know, understanding things can't necessarily get to. Yeah, the subconscious mind is tricky like that.
And it's like, you know, even thoughts are energy.
Right.
You know, so it's all about knowing how to use and master the different level of energy within our body, and then and our physical astro ethereal body, and you know, the tools. Hi Audrey, hi Margot. The tools can help us 100%, but it's also in willingness and an openness to explore and open up those different layers. Because,
Yeah.
you know, my husband, for example, is zero open to energy. Like, it thinks it's like a bunch of crap. So
Brilliant.
even when I try to do coding with him, or, you know, tapping, I taught him, or RTT, it was like, no, nothing. Doesn't work for me. I don't notice any shift. And I'm like, really? But the thing is, like, he's not open to energy. Like, he doesn't even feel the energy, his own energy. So I think that's the first step. You know, even when I do my coding session and my wealth coding session, I completely notice if someone has an open energetic field, who has, you know, work on it, and then it's so easy to actually work on it and, you know, reprogram and recode, than someone who is like completely closed.
Absolutely. Because also what's helpful with that is the permissions there, right? So you can go straight in, like they get it, they kind of know it, and there's a willingness there. It makes it so much easier to work within someone's energy field on whatever layer it is, like any of the, you know, 1 to 7 layers that we have in the energy field. But I think what's so interesting about energy in the business sense is that anyone can change their energetic state in an instant, right? You and I could change state right now, but when you apply it to the lens of business and success, what's really interesting, and the game that I know you and I both love to play in, the space that we both love to play in, is how big can we help someone get their energy? How high frequency can we help someone get it? And not just in that space, but hold it. Because
Yes.
that's, you know, you can't, everything about more money, more opportunity, whatever it is that you're creating, more impact, you know, a bigger audience, whatever it is, are those metrics. Energy is such a key part that's quite often underrated, because ultimately you can't hold a 6-figure, multiple 6-figure or 7-figure business if you're not expanded energetically enough to actually hold it. And that's such a fun place to play in with clients, because it's absolutely possible to expand your field and raise your vibration to different set points, and to access different set points that aren't just, you know, shifting in a moment, but are actually there on more of a permanent basis, where, you know, you access that level, you can program it at that level, and then you play at that level until you're ready to go to the next one. And that to me is all a game of energy.
Totally. And it also, you know, I want to say, from my perspective, it takes time.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's not immediate to expand our energetic field and our energetic capacity in just like, you know, boom, one session or one, you know, that's something I say all the time to my clients. I don't do single sessions because I feel it's not a service, because you are going to expand so much through the coding, but then, you know, since you don't know, as you said, how to hold it and contain the energy, you are gonna either collapse or, you know, go back to point zero. So it's a work of mastery.
It so is. I love that word mastery, especially with energy, because you're so, it's, yeah, you're so right. And it absolutely is. I mean, for me, I've been in this space personally for 10 years and I stand in it. Like I said before, I live and breathe it. I know you do too. And it is mastery. It's, you know, the foundation of it is formulaic scientific that you can apply again and again and again. The process will always work because as long as you've got an energy field, you can play in it and expand it and, you know, work within it. But it's, yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. For me, it's like the compound effect, right? And it's, you can get shifts really quickly. Like there's shifts into alignment happen all the time, and then opportunities drop in, and I'll get things like I'll get clients check in straight after sessions and say, you shifted this in my energy field with a 15-minute attunement, and I've just all of a sudden broken my next financial glass ceiling that I've been stuck at for ages. How does that even happen? And what I found is that that happens with the clients that have been doing the work for a really long time, because they've done like the energetic heavy lifting. They've cleared all of the really big things on all of the layers of their energy field. So those results come in really quickly because they're in alignment, but that doesn't happen in like a half-day session or whatever. For most of my clients I've been working with for years, and those results are incredible and they happen, but it's the dedication, commitment and patience for the process, right?
Yeah. Yes. Hi Marie, how are you?
Ah, Marie, hi.
And I think is also where the integrity, excellence, you know, mastery, again, peace come in the coaching online space, because, you know, we can promise like I've seen like clients after coding making 100K, you know, in 15 minutes. Yes. But there were clients who were, again, like doing the work for many, many years and ready to receive the energetic attunements and the coding. And like, you know, I'm at least from my side of the street, I don't want to sell instant results like buy this thing and you're gonna have an instant $1 million, you know, because I think it's not in integrity.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it's, and I think it's absolutely possible to create those in what seems like the shortest amount of time, and what feels miraculous and magic and, you know, as you say, comes out in like 15 minutes. I've had it exactly the same from like, you know, being in someone's energy field for like, as I was saying, like for me it's like you do coding and for me it's attunement. And so, you know, doing those and making the tweaks and all of the things, but what isn't always shown is the fact that that person's been in deep work, facing their biggest fears, all of their childhood trauma, all of their conditioning, all of their belief system. They've sat in the chair week after week, session after session, doing the, you know, one of my friends used to say this work is like the gritty work. It's like, you know, that can be really confronting. And that's the bit that isn't always the piece that's shown externally. It's like, yeah, okay, you can do an attunement and someone can, you know, I've had clients that, you know, have gone from 20K revenue months to a few months later 100K months, like cash months. But what isn't shown always is the amount of dedication and commitment that they have had to the process for months beforehand to kind of almost prepare for that to then like pop. And that's kind of how it works, right? It's like you do the work, you do the work, you do the work, you do the work, you do the work. It's like shift after shift after shift after shift after shift, and then it pops into something really epic.
Yes, 100%. And You know, it's the devotion to the work. It's the devotion to the, you know, for the client to master their own energy first, you know, and make it a priority, and believing that, you know, I believe, and, you know, I believe also my client believe that business is definitely 80% energy and 20% strategies.
100%. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I mean, Elisa, quite honestly, you've seen my business on paper, and to a lot of people that come across me and my business, I'm kind of like, people look at me and they're like, how does your business even work? How are you hitting 6-figure months? Like, how you've got the tiniest audience, you don't have a list, you don't really market that much, and I don't get it. Like, on paper, your business, quote unquote, should not work, and I'm the best, you know, walking testimonial for energy, because that's how I create it. Everything for me is energy and leadership and how I show up, and the focus on the quality of the work. And that's kind of been the thing that has helped me to create massive success in my business over 8 years. It hasn't been necessarily in the more traditional ways that most people grow their coaching or service-based businesses. And so it's so interesting when you know, for me, energy was my strategy. I was like, I'm doing energy 100%. It was no 80-20. It was like, that was it for me. It's 100%. And it's never failed for me ever. But you're right. I feel like a lot of people come into containers with me when they're a bit more established and they've got all of the strategic foundations in place, and they're looking for something more for themselves. It becomes less about how can I grow in the revenue sense, and it becomes more about how can I create bigger impact, and how can I be more of myself, and how can I play a bigger game that is more me being in more magnetism. And I feel like when all of the foundational pieces are set in business, then the way to grow isn't necessarily to add in more strategies. Like, that piece is done. It is about these other more, you know, some people might call them more intangible pieces that are more the foundations of who we are as the person leading the business. And to me, everything in that space is energy.
Totally. And I mean, even at 7-figure, multiple 7-figure, multiple 6-figure, like, there are still strategies because I'm a huge believer that, you know, we cannot sustain only the business on energy. There are still strategies that help the business grow and scale and be sustainable. But that's just a tiny piece, you know. It's like really tweak, you know, the cocktail until it's perfect.
That's it.
But you can have all the bells and whistles and the funnels and the ads and the thing. But if your energy is not in alignment, if you are not even in alignment with your genius, what you sell, how you show up, who you are, like, you know, something that I find super interesting is like, when I see you online, you are you, you know. Even when I talk to you, you're always the same person. And and for me, it's energetic alignment, energetic alignment. While, you know, a lot of people show up with the face in the business online, and then behind the scene, they are a completely different person. And so, since we are actually all energetic beings and we are all psychic, people feel it. People feel the energetic dissonance, even if they cannot put words into it. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And for me, it's you actually talk a lot about this. Customer journey and experience is paramount to me. It's so important. And for me, I always was very intentional about wanting to know myself and to stand in more of who I am, so that the people that chose to work with me, they weren't thinking that they were buying one thing and then receiving another, like they were buying one version of me and actually getting another when they came behind the curtain of the business and started the work. And I'm very much like that. I'm very real, and what you see is what you get, kind of thing. Because to me it's so important, and vibration and frequency is absolutely, people will feel that before you say anything. You don't even need to say anything, and people will read your energy as soon as they come into interaction with a person's energy field. They'll know if they're in alignment frequency wise. And that's so important, not just in business but in life in general.
Mm-hmm.
We download so much information from people's energy fields all the time, with unconsciously, without necessarily realizing, and a lot of that information is coming through, as you say, psychically and kinesthetically. And sometimes it's like, oh, I'm not sure about that person, but I don't know why necessarily. And sometimes it's more of a feeling, and that's frequency, that's energy. And so you're so right. Your energy field is felt and experienced without you needing to say anything. And when that vibration is high, and when you're in alignment, and when you're in integrity and connected with a level of certainty of who you are, then it's really easy to just be yourself. I found anyway.
Yeah. And most of all, also connected with your truth.
Yes.
It's like you have always, been showing up completely connected with your truth. It's like you are not selling energy and leadership, and behind the scene you are actually, doing all the funnels and ads, and pressing out about the strategy. You are actually the embodiment of what you sell.
Yeah. And like I said, that is the strategy, right? So yeah, I've always been that way, and there's different ways to play in that, obviously. And I absolutely, to your point, I make a joke and say I'm all energy, that's 100% strategy. I mean, obviously I do have structures and systems and a team and all of that kind of stuff, which you need to, make a successful business. I mean, I honestly could not survive without my team. So I do have structures, I do have systems, but it's never been the priority for me. The priority for me has been to take a stand for something that I believe is super powerful in creating massive shifts, not just in success, not just in wealth, not just in impact, but in the wider consciousness shifts that I believe are, anyone that is kind of in the coaching or service space that wants to make a difference, we're all working in the consciousness shifting space, I believe. And it's about the much bigger picture as well, how we can help shift people into higher frequencies and higher levels of consciousness, which is ultimately an energetic evolution for sure, but it's a soul evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And so, those are the things that I'm more aligned with in my business in particular, because I have more fun in that space.
We have more fun playing in the 5D or 7D, whatever D.
Exactly.
But also we ground into the actual body, because I think that's also a very big part of talking energies, especially connected with business. Like we can't forget the body. Like we cannot just live in the higher realm of the energy, because as you said before, the embodiment is so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so important because, ultimately we can be 5D, 7D, all the things as we want.
All
the things. But ultimately we are leading businesses in a 3D world. So, it's the navigation and the balance of both, right? Because, they both go hand in hand in order for it to work. But one of the things that I love that you teach a lot is and you teach it through the lens of energy, which I love, is the frequency of feminine energies in business, feminine leadership, and the energies of receiving. And a big part of that is embodiment too, right?
Yes, yes. Because when I started as you, like, well, maybe I started when I was 16, and now I'm 39. Don't tell anyone, to do energy. And at the beginning, I didn't even have the maturity to actually use this energy I was working with. And so what happened is, like, I went to this course where literally I was 16, and they taught us how to astral travel and speak with dead people and see the bodies, and I freaked the fuck out. I went in a dark hole because my body and my mental awareness was not able to hold this level of energy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, that's when the body freaks out and we shut down and we freeze, and the nervous system, because it's also our physical body that needs to be able to receive higher frequency of energy, and access higher frequency of consciousness.
Yes, absolutely. And you hold it amazingly as well. And you're like what you were saying about me, like you're exactly the same in the sense of, you show up exactly how you are. And from, conversations that we've had, many behind the scenes and everything, there's no difference in, frequency that you are behind the scenes to, how you are in the public space. And I think, that's credit to energy work, and it's credit to the depth of work in general on self-connection, right?
Yes, definitely. Well, that has been fun. I mean,
So
we could eat for hours, but I know people have probably place to be, and we don't want to overwhelm them with all of our energy, because the two of us are like two energetic balls coming. So if you have more questions, if you have any curiosity, comment below when you watch a replay. Whatever question, curiosity you have, ask me or Jo. And then if you want to know more about Jo and her work, she's amazing, she's awesome, she's the best, she's the deal. Go follow her. I'm Jo Sweeney on Instagram. She's just launched a fucking awesome brand called I let you speak.
I did just launch. So it's been many, many years that I've been doing this work, and I thought finally I channeled through the perfect brand, the perfect wrapper to house all of it. And so literally just a few days ago, actually, I launched a new brand called the Prism Effect. And we are all about, working with energy and charging light energy into leaders so they can be more of themselves and create more impact in the world. So yeah, I'm really excited to finally have a really beautiful wrapper to go with this work that I've been doing for so long. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you everyone for being here, for watching, for commenting, loving it. And thank you so much, Jo. I love you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for joining. Bye.